This is Kirby's Kickoff. We're powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. So glad that you are with us. It's kind of a different format, not as long of an episode due to the Thanksgiving holiday. I am recording this piece on Thanksgiving proper at the time of this recording because two teams in our local area have earned the right to practice on Thanksgiving Day because they have earned the right by victories last week to play in the region final. The Strasburg Rams defeating Central in the second round of the Region 2B playoffs, and they will be facing off against Stuarts Draft. The Skyline Hawks in a nail-biter going down all the way to overtime to defeat Culpeper County 14-13. The Handley Judges fall to Jefferson Forest, and the Shenandoah Warriors fall to GW Danville in the region semifinals. So two teams are still alive. The Skyline Hawks as they travel to face Kettle Run, and Strasburg as they host Stuarts Draft in the Region 2B semifinals. Once again, that is Skyline in the Region 3B final facing off against the top seed Kettle Run, and the top seed Strasburg hosting Stuarts Draft in the Region 2B final. Should be a lot of fun. We talked to Ryan Rutherford of the River 95.3 to discuss more about Strasburg and Stuarts Draft, and we hear from coaches across the area getting you set for the region finals. This is Kirby's Kickoff. We're powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. Thanks so much for tuning in.
This holiday season, step into the magic of walking in a winter wonderland at Clearbrook Park. Presented by Finch Oral and Facial Surgery. Celebrate 25 years of sparkling tradition as you stroll a half mile of beautifully illuminated pathways where twinkling lights dance to festive music and memories shine bright. Create new traditions. Capture the wonder. Walking in a Winter Wonderland opens November 28th through January 1st. Order your tickets now at fcprd.net.
For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. This is Kirby's Kickoff, powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. So glad you're with us. We take a look at a matchup just a little bit closer. The Region 2B final, the Strasburg Rams have earned the right to play in the region final, hosting Stuarts Draft. Joining me, the man on the call with Randy Woodward, Ryan Rutherford, the Duke, Ryan Rutherford. And Ryan, another region title for the Strasburg Rams team. What have you seen that has been so consistent with this Rams team?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to last year's region championship team, I think the biggest thing that has continued through this run for Strasburg is the defense. It just all goes back to the defense, and especially that defensive line. I mean, you hear Coach Lamb say it every week when you talk to him. This team will go as far as that line carries them, and right now they're carrying them pretty far, and it's a great group. Hudson Conrad, reigning district player of the year on the defensive side of the ball. Gage Gutierrez making big plays, Jacob Britton making plays, Jacob Stickley. So they just have so many guys that they can rotate through that front, and all of them are making plays right now, and they were last year too, and it got them to Salem, so they're hoping for the same result this year.
What interests me about this Rams team is the fact that they're a run-heavy team. We all know that, but when needed, Braden Huff can just sling it back, because the last 2 games against Central, finding Quincy Williams for a touchdown. How huge is that in your mind as when you see this team that they're able to utilize both running and passing with an effective playmaker in Braden Huff who can find people like Quincy Williams?
Yeah, no, that is one thing that they've improved a lot at, and I think that's started to show in the playbook and play calling the last few weeks of the regular season and now into the playoffs, where they aren't afraid to mix in one of those deep passes, maybe a play action shot. Those play actions work really well when you have a run-heavy offense like they do. But yeah, they've developed a new kind of wrinkle with Quincy Williams coming out of the backfield. 3 catches for Quincy Williams this year, 3 receiving touchdowns, all of them like 40-plus yards. So clearly that is just a home run play that they have in their back pocket. And also they've got guys like Harper Sherman and Carson Duckworth, 2 big-body tight ends that Braden Huff has a really good connection with going down the field. Both of those guys just know their role and how to find the gaps in the defense. And it seems like every time that Huff looks towards one of them, they're open 20, 25 yards down the field. So that's going to be big whenever teams do key in on Quincy Williams, Lincoln Bosworth, Brady Knight in that running game.
What have you seen out of Stuarts Draft? I know there's only so much we can take in. Last week, defeating Buckingham, they had a big scoop and score on defense, but what are you sort of seeing out of them, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, Stuarts Draft is a team that has been here before. They are a very experienced roster as well. They have guys who have played in the playoffs before. It seems like every year, whether it's Strasburg or Central that we're following and the Class 2 level, they're probably going to run into Stuarts Draft somewhere along the way, just a perennial playoff team. And one thing that's really impressed me with them, too, 3 losses on the season, but all to other playoff teams. I know they lost to Central Woodstock, the lone common opponent for them in Strasburg at this time, I believe. But the other 2 losses were against teams that were also in the playoffs. So they're a very talented team, and they're not going to be intimidated coming into Strasburg. A lot of teams can have a hard time going on the road, but especially with them already coming up with an upset win over Buckingham County, they're going to be ready to come in, play that bad guy role, maybe soak in some booze when they run onto the field. And some teams feed off of that energy, and I think Stuarts Draft is probably one of them.
Should be a lot of fun. The Region 2B final, Ryan Rutherford is on the call with Randy Woodward on the River 95.3. Once again, Ryan Rutherford on Kirby's Kickoff. Enjoy the playoffs, and maybe we will catch you down the line if any of these teams go deeper.
Yes, hoping for a game on Saturday next week.
Hey there, Kirby on Sports and Podcast fans. Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here for you. Remember, if you have any real estate needs, buying or selling, I'm your guy. I would love to help you out. And you can also find me on my own personal podcast, Iconic Talk, where you get a chance to learn about the local real estate market and why Winchester is an amazing place to live. Reach out to me anytime, 540-247-1527, and find Iconic Talk anywhere you get your podcasts.
It's Jason, General Manager at Shenandoah Music, here to tell you all about...
Jay, what are you doing here?
Well, Matt, I'm trying to tell the people about our selection of guitars, basses, keyboards, drum sets.
I know that, but I always do the radio spots.
You get to have all the fun. I want to tell everyone about our huge selection, unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and in-depth knowledge.
Jay, I really don't think now is the time to discuss.
So remember, folks, when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester.
That's my line.
Located right here in Winchester, Virginia, Barrett Pest and Termite Services celebrates 25 years of service in 2022. And our veteran staff has over 100 years of combined experience preventing and remediating pest and termite infestations. From ants and termites on the ground to mosquitoes, yellow jackets, and hornets in the air, to one-time corrective services for rodents, to ongoing maintenance, Barrett does the job for residential and commercial customers. We also offer discounts for seniors, first responders, and military. What's bugging you? Let us know today, and we'll be out before you know it. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
Kirby's Kickoff were powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation, catching up with the head coach of the Shenandoah Warriors, TJ Rohrbaugh. Their season comes to an end in the region semifinals at GW Danville. Coach, appreciate your time. If you can just sort of take us through that matchup against GW. I saw that your team was leading up until halftime. What did you see that stood out to you about the kids in their fight in this game despite the scoreboard?
No, our kids played great. Really proud of them. We were just a little outmatched in terms of size and athleticism there as a whole. But we fought hard. We had a great first half, and GW was able to kind of wear on us a little bit there in the second half, and those advantages I spoke to kind of overwhelmed us in the second half.
But how huge was it in a sense that your team was able to produce, and the size disadvantage was there, but at the same time you were still making good things happen regardless?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's one of those things where we'll meet as a staff in the off season and we'll talk about things. We got to find ways to overcome those obstacles because as you get into the playoffs and you move deeper into the playoffs, those things are going to present themselves. So we just got to figure out a way to do a better job of preparing our kids and being able to game plan ways that we can overcome those obstacles.
Coach, just throughout the course of the season, if you can just take us through the entire season as a whole, it seemed like a lot of success. And I know you measure things in terms of your team in reaching their full potential. I believe that's what you alluded to in our preseason interview. How would you say the season went, and where would you gauge the potential level of your team throughout the course of this long season?
Well, I thought that we did a good job of getting better throughout the season. We had a lot of guys that were starting varsity football for the first time, so we were relatively inexperienced. You look at the regular season, the 3 games we lost a game by 1 point, and then we lost our 2 other games 14-7. So I think the key for us in this offseason and moving forward is really just figuring out ways to kind of get over that hump and win those tight ball games and be able to win those close football games.
So you mentioned the 3 games you lost. Do you look at maybe the margin in which you lost? Because I know sometimes you have alluded to that your team and you don't look at the scoreboard. But in terms of the 3 losses, it's not like any one team blew you out. It's just a close competitive match. How do you look at those 3 games that you lost in terms of what you see that was positive out of your team, just as a whole?
Well, it's one of those things where, you always learn more from a loss than you do from a win. And I think when you look at those 3 games that we lost in the regular season, it really forces you as a coach to evaluate, like, what didn't we get through to the kids? What do we need to do better? How do we need to prepare better so that we can kind of get over that hump and win those tight ball games? And so it's just one of those things where, now that the season's over, you'll have more time to reflect on those things and, hopefully get your program better and get your kids where they need to be because, we have good kids. They played hard and, it's our job as coaches to put them in position to be able to win those football games and finish opportunities when they're out there, and that's what we're going to focus on.
What's the off-season looking like for you and the staff and the returners on this team?
We'll get after it like we always do. We'll give them this week off, the week of Thanksgiving here. We turned in our equipment yesterday, and then next Monday we'll get back after it. We'll get in the weight room and start lifting and, doing all those things that give you a chance to compete come next August. So we're going to work hard and try and improve the areas where we felt like we didn't do such a good job this past season and hopefully be better next year.
Tell me about the seniors and their contributions to the staff and this team as a whole.
Oh, no, our seniors are great, man. I'm going to miss those guys. We had a lot of great leaders in that senior group, and guys that you can't replace. Guys like Jared C. He started every single game since his freshman year. Never missed a game. 49 starts in his career, and Jacob Henry was a leader at quarterback, and guys like Andrew Taylor up front, who was a force for us on defense, and then you had other guys who didn't start last year, were first-year starters this year, but contributed immensely. Guys like Asher Morrow, Trayvon Washington, Nick Usa, who stepped up this year as seniors and did a great job for us. And I'm going to miss those guys. They were great to be around, and I appreciate everything they did for this football program. And now the task is preparing the next group of guys to hopefully fill in what we're losing.
And the next group of guys, I know it's still relatively early, but what do you see in terms of what this squad is bringing back and just the excitement? Because just from what I've seen, there's some good talent on this team that are underclassmen moving up to juniors or seniors this year.
Yeah, we'll have a good returning core group of players back next year that started for us offensively and defensively, but it's honestly too early to tell. It'll be the level of commitment and buy-in we get from those guys in the off season, and that'll be really what goes a long way in determining how successful we can be next year.
Once again, the Shenandoah Warriors falling in the region semis to George Washington. Danville right here on Kirby's Kickoff. Always a pleasure to be joined week in and week out by the head coach of the Shenandoah Warriors, TJ Rohrbal. Coach, appreciate the time each and every year with us and the coverage that we put into high school sports. Certainly appreciate your time. Happy holidays and looking forward to next season.
Thank you, Josh. Same to you.
Are you looking to take the final steps in order to get your driver's license? Look no further. On the Road Driving School offers teen and adult driving, along with classroom sessions for teens and adults, DMV re-exam classes, and driver improvement classes. On the Road Driving School has what you need in order to get on the road. Contact them today at 540-869-6105. That's On the Road Driving School. 540-869-6105. On the Road Driving School will get you on the road. This is Kirby's Kickoff, powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. We have reached the region final in Region 3B as the Skyline Hawks advance to the region final after defeating Culpeper County 14-13 in overtime by way of a goal line stand to keep Culpeper out of the end zone on a potential 2-point play. Now joining me, the head coach of the Hawks, Heath Gilbert. And coach, let's start right there on defense. That goal line stand right there must have been electric just to have your team stop that running back from getting in the end zone for a chance to win. Your team holding up in a very tight situation. What were the emotions like?
It was elation. It was so exciting for the boys to come through with that play. We had a lot of confidence in them. They showed a formation a couple times in that C-back, full back house field, and we had a good idea of what they might want to do. And they went to their guy 34, and we were able to really do a great job. Middle backer, Isaiah Grady came in and filled it hard, and Jonathan Leach knocked his guy back and caused them to bounce it where they wanted to go. And then Burks off the edge to Brady Coffin, they came up and made the tackle together, and it was on.
If you could, coach, rewinding a little bit, the game, most of the game, Culpeper up 7-0. So not like an unmanageable lead, but can you sort of take us through like the majority of the game being down 7-0? Obviously, Zayden rushing in to tie it up at 7 to send it to overtime. But what was sort of your evaluations of this contest overall?
It was frustrating, but it was penalties. It was 20-4 penalties. That had a huge impact on how the game went. It is what it is. We have film, we can see it. It's hard to see some of these penalties, but our kids were able to stay together and overcome the adversity that faced us, and we were able to pull it out in the end, and we can't be any more excited to get a shot at the regional final.
What did you see out of Zayden's touchdown there?
Just vintage, it's what he does. We were doing a good job with duo or off tackle the opposite way, and It was happened to be an off tackle run. Got a good job blocking down, kicking out. Marcus Lockhart, big boy, 6'2", 230, leading up the hole. And then Zayden Burke splits two guys and goes into the end zone and ties it up for us. And that was a huge play.
Coach, it's holiday season, but I would imagine around the campus of Skyline High School, practicing on Thanksgiving morning is a good problem to have. Am I right?
We were so excited. We were celebrating in the locker room, and I yelled out, "I was so glad to tell you guys we have practice from 10 to 12 all week long, and we're going to make Thursday special. We're going to invite family and friends to have a little turkey bowl on half the field as we're finishing up our practice. We're going to do some food, some turkey themed food real quick for the guys. We don't want to hold them up because I want them to get to their families that afternoon, but we're going to do some things to, kind of celebrate this moment because it is big in our program history. First time we've reached the regional final. So we're super excited, and we want to make it as special as we can for these guys.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, but as the only head coach in Skyline High School history reaching your first region final in school history, what does that mean to you?
It was special. It meant a lot to me. Meant a lot to our coaches, and means a lot to our kids. It was just so awesome at the end of the game to be able to hear how excited they were, and and on the bus ride home, just hear about their emotions during the game and how great it felt for them to be able to get that victory. And I was just so excited that we got to celebrate that. There's been so many good teams that we've had that we haven't been able to get over the hump a lot of times because of Kettle Run knocking us out. But this time we were able to get there to this final game, and we're super excited for the opportunity next week.
What's the importance that you and the team are getting work in, but practicing on Thanksgiving, inviting the families out and making it sort of a special time as well after getting your work in?
Yeah, so the first hour is going to be all us, and we're going to finish up on half the field. And I want the little brothers and sisters to come out, and maybe some dads if they still have it in them to come out there and fling it around a little bit. We actually have a tradition of staff members and their kids that play our little turkey bowl game every year at Skyline. We have a lot of our former players that come back and participate in it. So I didn't want to end that. I just want to include them all because a lot of those boys that come out and play still over the years, they were a big part of, growing our program here at Skyline. So we want to keep that tradition alive and keep it going. We're just going to add a little practice to it before we get to play a little turkey bowl.
Coach,
obviously our players aren't going to do the turkey bowl, just the family and friends. We need to focus on Friday night.
Friday night, heading up to Kettle Run. I would imagine we all know what Kettle Run's storyline is, their history, what have you. But maybe my question here, based off when you first saw Kettle Run to now, what do you see? What are maybe some differences, and how do you sort of look to maybe change anything if you do, or what's the game plan like in that aspect?
Yeah, so Kettle Run is a really good football team. They're well coached. They have a lot of good players. We haven't been competitive really with them for a decade, so we need to change that narrative, and that's up to us. We have to go out there and play our best football. They do a great job not only just being a good football team, but creating extra opportunities and touchdowns, and with defensive and special team touchdowns. So they are a problem for sure. But we're excited about this opportunity, and we're not going there just for, hey, we made it this far. Let's cool. No, we're going out there. We're going to try to play our best football and give them a good game.
And how do you keep your guys focused on the game at task, the task at hand, rather, and make it so they don't really think too far in and just know they got to go out and play good football in a sense?
Yeah, that's our job this week in practice, to make sure that we're dialed in to what we're doing. We actually did some good things in our first game. We just really struggled in some key areas, and it's our job as a coaches and player group to clean that up so we can be more competitive. We can't turn the ball over. We turn the ball over, we have 20 penalties like we did against Culpeper. We're not going to win the football game. You don't beat good teams by turning the ball over and having 20 penalties. So we have to do what we can to control that and to give ourselves a chance to be competitive in the fourth quarter.
It is the Region 3B final as the Skyline Hawks have earned the right to participate in the region final, traveling to face the Kettle Run Cougars on Friday night. Always a pleasure to be joined by the head coach of the Skyline Hawks, Heath Gilbert, right here on Kirby's Kickoff. Coach, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving to you and your team, and thank you for the time as always.
Thank you, and go Hawks.
This is Kirby's Kickoff, and we are back with more right after this. Fall is here, and New Look Landscaping has everything your home needs to look its best. Brighten your yard with colorful mums available now. And don't forget, New Look offers professional power washing to give your home a fresh, clean look. Call New Look Landscaping today at 540-327-1244 or email them at 2025.nullook@gmail.com.
This holiday season, step into the magic of walking in a winter wonderland at Clearbrook Park. Presented by Finch Oral and Facial Surgery. Celebrate 25 years of sparkling tradition as you stroll a half mile of beautifully illuminated pathways where twinkling lights dance to festive music and memories shine bright. Create new traditions, capture the wonder. Walking in a Winter Wonderland opens November 28th through January 1st. Order your tickets now at fcprd.net.
This is Kirby's Kickoff, powered by Frederick County Parks and Recreation. So glad you're with us. It's the Region 2B final as the Strasburg Rams will be hosting Stuarts Draft on Friday night. Now, pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Strasburg Rams, Tripp. Coach, thank you for your time as always. Last week, a dominant win against Central after the bye week in round one of the playoffs. What really stood out to you about the performance from your team in this matchup against Central, only allowing 6 points?
I thought we had 2 great weeks of practice, and we came ready to play. I thought in the first game, that they were a little more physical than us, and they were a little more intense, and they were a little more ready to play than we were. So we knew we had to clean that kind of stuff up, and there were some things X's and O's wise I didn't think we did a very good job of the first time. So we had that extra week to work on that, and I think it showed on Friday.
And just overall, what's the importance to you having your team at home instead of on the road for a playoff stretch like that? That must be a good feeling, having the community support right in your backyard while you're playing these games at home, which is meaningful playoff football.
Honestly, besides it just being more convenient, the community at Strasburg, it wouldn't matter where we are. We're gonna have a sea of purple behind us. So whether we're on the road or whether we're at home, the crowd's going to be there. There's no doubt about that. But it is just more convenient, to be at your own home, just as far as that goes. It's just a little bit better. But people from Strasburg, they're never gonna let us look to an empty stadium behind us. It wouldn't matter where we were.
Absolutely. So take me through offensively, Coach. The offensive line able to create holes for players like in Brady Knight, who had a touchdown, and Braden Huff, who's able to throw it in the air, found Quincy Williams for a touchdown. When you look at the Rams offense, it seems very versatile in what you can do. How pleased are you with the production offensively with what your offense is able to do this late in the season?
Oh, we're super, super glad. You know what I mean? They're putting points on the board, and that's what you got to do. Coach Haymore got a good plan together, and the boys executed. And the way we're blocking up front, I mean, we're likely to score a lot of points. So things are going well when it comes offensive.
And defense and defensive line generating a lot of pressure against this Central team last week. How do you look to keep that success defensively up as well going into this game?
Well, that's kind of what we're built to do. We start every week on Monday with a full defensive practice. We don't do any offense. We just do all defense on Mondays, and that's just to kind of set the tone for the week. That that's the most important thing, because you can score a lot of points and still lose a game, but if the other team doesn't score at all, you're bound to win.
Coach, I know this week is probably a very weird week, but I would imagine it's a very good problem to have, getting the opportunity to practice on Thanksgiving. Am I right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's special. It's everybody's goal at the beginning of the season, and we're just thankful that we get to practice this Thursday.
What do you see out of the Stuarts Draft and what they present to the football field?
They got some electric athletes. They got the running back number 23. He really wants to. He's a really physical downhill back, and he's got a little speed when he gets in open space. And then their quarterback number 10, he is very electric. Just watching some game film of them throughout the whole season. I mean, he busts off a ton of long runs. We're going to have to keep him bottled up if we're going to have a shot. And defensively, they fly around to the ball. They're very physical, and their linemen on both sides of the ball do a really good job of maintaining the line of scrimmage.
Coach, just take me through this late in the season, the opportunity to play in another region final. How proud are you of the way this team is fighting and just keeping up the momentum throughout the course of this season overall?
Super proud. It's a long season, and there's a lot of ups and downs throughout a season that's this long. And, we've been able to maintain, and hopefully we can keep it going.
It is the Region 2B final as the Strasburg Rams host Stuarts Draft. Should be a lot of fun. Playoff football is always a great time. Always a pleasure catching up with the head coach of the Strasburg Rams, Tripp right here on Kirby's Kickoff. Coach, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate your time, and we will catch you soon.
Thanks, buddy.